And right now we have Daryl, our local gardener. Good morning, Daryl.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Not too bad at all. And last month we spoke about apricot trees and when they set fruit. But you've got one that's a little bit older.
We have. For those that are going to put an apricot tree in, it might get a bit devastated, think nothing's going to happen, but it won't produce any apricots, baby ones, for 4 years after planting.
And yours is flowering well?
Yes. This year the apricot tree has produced young ones. But the interesting thing is, Bill, that in pruning the tree, I found this year that the 4-year-old timber has set the fruit, flowered and set the fruit. There was new shoots that are a year old now, longer, going upwards a bit higher than that. And I was thinking of pruning those off, and then all of a sudden there's an abundance of flowers on those. So it just shows you that it takes 4 years on the old timber, but the new timber can take 1 or 2 years and you'll get fruit on that as well. It's quite interesting the way it's happened.
All right, so you're going to have some apricot jam later in the year.
Could do if I can get up high enough to pick them. But this is the reason for pruning, is to encourage new growth and also keep the tree at a height where you can actually pick the fruit without getting up on ladders. All right for the young ones, they get up and they can bounce off the ground. But us older blokes, we've got to, keep off those ladders.
Exactly, mate. You can put flow up it instead.
Yes. Oh well, I put her on my shoulders and she can pick the top ones from here.
Beautiful. And then she can come in and make the jam.
That's right.
All right.
One of the interesting things, Bill, for this last month is that in rainfall, we've had 15 millimetres of rain. There's only 3 days in the last month that produced any rain, and that was in the order of 2 lots of 6 millimetres and then a 3 millimetre drop of rain. So 15 millimetres, it really hasn't done much or anything for the garden at all. So
did you compare that to last year?
I didn't compare it to last year, no, but I haven't got the average of September, but it would be higher than that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we had a much more watery winter spring than what we're going to have this year. So, and those winds out there at the moment are drying things out quite considerably.
Oh, it is, yeah. And it's we've got to watch things like the broad beans and that they don't get blown over. So you've got to support them, look after them.
Yeah.
This wind will bend them.
So it's time to start looking at planting things for the summer crop.
It is. One of the things that I like to grow is beans. There's 2 types of beans that you can grow. It's a dwarf bean, which is like, as it indicates that it's a low plant. The secret that I found with growing the dwarf beans is to grow them in rows. You scour out the row, and water it, make sure it's watered well, and then you plant your seeds into that wet row.
And how deep?
Row.
How deep?
Sorry?
How deep do you plant them?
1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch deep, and put the beans into that wet soil.
Yep.
Dry beans out of your packet, and then put them into the soil. Cover it, and if you can put some old leaves or something over the top of them, and just leave them alone. Don't water them for 2 to 3 days afterwards. Even 4 days is okay. What happens there with the young bean? They've got a split in them, and if you wet them early, they'll split open, and that's where the shoots and that come out of the roots, and the shoots come out of, and you'll find you get a weak bean. So the other thing that I do is I put 2 seeds in each hole.
Yep.
Because various soils some sandy soils are okay. They'll come up through the soil quite easily, but the others, most of the soil's a bit harder than that, and it takes a bit of breaking through. So two beans will break through harder soil, and often when they come through like that, you'll find one of them has broken off, snapped, because they come up in a U shape, and they can snap off. So that putting two in, it means you can get a better row. I make 2 rows about 5 inches apart.
Yep.
And then the next major row, big separation, is at 45 centimetres from the other row, and put 2 rows down that one as well. And the reason for that is to support each other, because as they're growing, we'll get a lot of wind as normal, and it'll blow the plants over and snap them, and so they support each other doing it that way.
So what are some of the varieties of the dwarf that you like?
Well, it's there's a lot of new varieties around. What I grew last year was Bountiful Babies, or Simba, S-I-M-B-A, or Hawkesbury Wonder. Hawkesbury Wonder's an old variety that's been around for a long time. There are other ones as well as butter beans, as well as the green beans you can grow. And it's very exciting because they come up in about 6-7 days, and away they go. You know, they're fantastic plants to watch as they develop, and they give you a huge amount of produce as well. You know, you can pick them every 2 or 3 days. You can pick a nice little crop off them. The other one that I like to grow is the ones that go up a frame or a trellis. They're called climbing beans. Yep. And they need a trellis. They can go up to 8 or 10 foot high. But I've found that Blue Lake is the best climbing ones that I've ever grown, and they're highly recommended. And they'll
take a bit longer. Oh, it looks like we've lost Daryl, so we might have to play a little bit of music here and come back and see if we can find him. And when love comes to town, Daryl comes on the radio. We got you back again, mate. So we're talking about beans.
Yeah, now the Blue Lake is a great variety of climbing bean. If you haven't limited in space, these are trellis. They go up a trellis or a frame. And look, it doesn't matter what age you pick these beans. They're never stringy. And they're always great to eat. They're beautiful beans. So and they're about 5-6 inches long. They grow an abundance amount of produce. They're the ones to go for. So if anyone's after some climbing beans, go for Blue Lake. Highly recommended.
Beautiful. All right, we'll have a quick break with a message I have to play, and we'll come back with some other plantings.
Fine.
Tune in to Hidden Gems each Tuesday between 2 and 4 to hear Your Business is Our Business, a podcast series that helps to navigate the planning, startup and expansion of your business in Nillumbik Shire Council. Learn how the Council's planning and business concierge service can help to seek advice early, avoid costly mistakes and get faster decisions. Find out which permits may be relevant to your business and what free council support is available. Download from Spotify or Apple, or visit nillumbik.vic.gov.au/business-podcast. Proudly supported by the Victorian Government's Business Friendly Council Approvals Program.
Station sponsor.
From Whittlesea through the valley and beyond, your local station, 88.6 Plenty Valley FM.
You're listening to Valley Lifestyles on your local station, 88.6 Plenty Valley FM.
And you're with Bill McGillivray up until 9 o'clock, and we're talking with Daryl regarding other gardening and particularly vegetables and other plantings that you recommend to be put in now, Daryl.
Well, now, Bill, it's a really exciting time. You can put almost anything in and get something to grow now. The weather's right, the ground's warm. You'll just have to water them because you won't get much from nature by the sound of it. But the other things I like to plant is lettuces, and you get the loose leaf variety. Plant those. You don't have to pick the whole lettuce that way. You can pick some leaves off it for the salad you're having, and it'll keep producing leaves after that. Another favourite, it's always been around for a long time, is the iceberg, which is a bigger lettuce, and it's a very crisp lettuce, but it does take a bit longer to grow, and it's harder to look after because if you water it too much from the top, it will rot the heart of the lettuce. But in planting those, you can harvest those in 10 to 12 weeks. The other thing is tomatoes. Again, you can either grow dwarf or staked varieties. A lot of people don't know that you can grow these dwarf ones. They're the low-lying ones, and the fruit is on the ground. You know, you put some straw and stuff underneath them so they don't get a lot of dirt into them, start rotting because they're laying on wet soil all the time.
Right.
They're a great variety, and you don't have to stake them up. But the staked varieties that I like is the cherry one.
Yeah, they're the little ones, aren't they?
They're the little ones, and they're so sweet. You know, all the kids will all come in and want to have a couple of handfuls of that when they come around your garden because it's just so sweet and lovely. And it's great to see the kids eating fruit like that. Yeah. The other one's a mortgage lifter.
I thought it'd be the other way around, a mortgage, what would you call it, reducer?
This goes back into early times here in Victoria when things were pretty tough. Early, when people had a mortgage and they couldn't pay their mortgage, so they produced a variety of tomatoes. They called it the mortgage lifter, and they're a nice round tomato, and they do produce well. They're well worthwhile considering.
Are they easy to find?
Sorry?
Are they easy to find, the seed?
Oh, yes. Most of these you'll find them in the seed aisle. There's no doubt about that. The other one's the Grosslisi.
They're the big ones.
Which is an old favourite. It's a high one. It's staking, but it produces very well and lovely tomatoes.
And they're big tomatoes too, aren't they?
Of course. Beg your pardon?
They're big too, the Grosslys.
They're big. Yeah, they're big. There's the Oxheart, which is also a very big one. There's the Black Russian, and of course a lot for bottling and that. They like the Roma tomato as well. That can be a climber or a dwarf as well.
Oh, right.
But it's an exciting time. Everyone loves to grow tomatoes. It's a great pastime for the gardeners to see who can produce the best tomato.
And they're not hard to manage either, are they?
No, you've just got to keep them separated. Don't get them too close together, otherwise they sort of sweat and that in there, and the pests and that like it when things are really close together. Just keep the limbs off the ground so that the air can get around underneath, and make sure there's plenty of air and sunshine can get around the plant as well.
And what good ones in pots?
In pots?
Yeah.
You can do that, yeah. I really wonder about all these people in the high-rise apartments and that now. That's all they can do is grow things in pots, which is disappointing to see that happening, but never mind.
Beautiful.
There's still plenty of us around that can grow it in our backyards.
And you like a cucumber occasionally?
Oh, yes, yeah. I've got, I can't think of the name of this cucumber I've got, but it grows about 12 inches long. It's a huge one, very nice. It's a climber, But, the other ones are what I call trailers. They're a smaller one, and they just on top of the ground. Apple cucumber, Bill, too, is a great favourite. I don't particularly like them, but I think I'm just one of the few that don't like them. But they're a heavy producer, and they're very popular in the home garden. They don't need a lot of room, but they do trail around on the ground as well. But they produce heaps of produce. There's no doubt about that.
They're more like a tomato than a long one, aren't they?
They're round, sort of whitish round one.
Yep.
Yeah, part of Collingwood colour.
And did you watch the game yesterday?
I did, yes. And I just thought if it had been Geelong, I wouldn't have been able to get any sense out of you this morning. But anyway.
Oh, that was last year, mate.
I know.
Give him a clip in the ear, Flo.
Whack, there you go.
Yeah. Now, it's a good time to start looking at planting. Well, we're 1st of October now, so it's ideal time to start planting pumpkins.
It is a great time again, Bill. I mean, spring's just such a great time for the gardeners. You can plant the pumpkin. Now, what a lot of people do, they go down to the market and they buy pumpkins that are already started, the seeds and that. But if you're astute and you found a pumpkin you really liked earlier in the winter time, you take the seeds out of them, dry them, and then you can plant these seeds in your garden. The best idea is to plant them where they're going to grow. If you go and buy them in the punnets from the shop and that, and you come home, invariably damage the roots and set them back a week or two in growing properly. So you put them into the rotted compost if you've got a mound, if you've prepared yourself for that. Put about 3 seeds in together. Now, the reason again for that is you can then choose the strongest seeds, pull the other ones out. I know it's hard, it makes your heart bleed, but pulling seeds out, but it's quite a fertile thing to do, and then you'll get a much better plant and a crop out of it. So remove the 2 weaker ones at around about the 3-leaf stage. So the first time when it opens, there'll be 2 big leaves, and then there'll be a 3rd leaf start to come up in the centre a bit later on. Right.
And what are the ones you like to plant?
The old favourite is butternut. It stores very well, and it's always it's good for mash, but or in a roast. They're very good. I love them. And another one that seems to have gained a lot of popularity is the Jap. So you see them in the market in the Coles, Woolworths, all the time now, and they are a very good pumpkin as well. Again, as you see these pumpkins you like, grab some seeds out of them and dry them and store them for the next season. There's a Queensland Blue, which is an older variety, and it's got skin on it, very tough skin on it, but a beautiful pumpkin as well. And there's also, for people with smaller areas, Bill, is the Golden Nugget.
Ooh.
It's not a big pumpkin, but it's a very nice pumpkin to eat as well. Great taste, stores well, and it's more like a big bush. It doesn't trail around like the other pumpkins. The other pumpkins, you need to have plenty of room for them to grow. One of the things you can do is grow them at the end of your lawn and let them grow all over your lawn. Don't worry about mowing the lawn. Just grow pumpkins, Save you mowing the lawn over summer period that way.
Right. And your broad beans, you're harvesting those yet?
Well, look, it's again exciting. Still plenty of flowers on the beans, growing taller and taller, but there are little baby ones forming now. And that's exciting because you don't see much activity. You see a few bees around them, but not much activity in pollinating them. I think it happens with wind and the tallness of them touching each other seems to set the fruit. But there's little ones growing there now. I've got some about 3 inches long now, but overall it'll be about another 6 weeks from before they mature properly.
around Cup Day.
In the early stages, my dad used to like to pick them in the early stages and slice them on an angle and eat them like the broad beans, the dwarf bean, broad beans. But I like to let them grow to maturity. You know, when you can feel the pod's got a big seeds and that in it before they dry off and they're just magic to eat. I love them.
No worries at all. Well, we've run out of time again, mate. So thank you very much for coming in and telling us about all those beautiful beans and the pumpkins, tomatoes, cucumbers, and there's a lot to be done this month then.
Yes, and the good thing is it's daylight savings, so you get an extra hour every day now out in the garden.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, thanks, Daryl, and we'll catch up with you when it's probably next time we'll be picking the broad beans.
Righto.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Righto. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, gardeners.